Are you so shy that it's hard for you to even look your camera in the eye? When that red recording light turns on, do you suddenly develop a strange stutter that you've never had in your entire life? I can definitely relate because when I first started filming YouTube videos, I was a train wreck. So in this video, I got you. I'm gonna share with you some tips that I wish I had when I first started filming myself for these YouTube videos. How to be less awkward, how to overcome your fear of the camera. Will it be easy? No, it won't be. But I do believe everyone can get better because I certainly did, and I thought I was hopeless. If you want more videos like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and let's get into it. To get this completely out of the way, the first thing I want you to know is you are normal. Everyone, when they're first starting to film themselves, completely suck. Go to every single YouTuber's channel and go to their very first video, and you will see exactly how awkward and painful it was for everyone to film themselves. Unless you're a freak of nature like Casey Neistat, yes, we all start from zero. So whatever awkwardness you're feeling, it's simply because you've never done this before. You haven't practiced at it, and you're not a trained actor or anything like that. So it's okay. Whatever anxieties that you might have or preconceived notions of how good you should be on camera, just leave it at the door. Be kind to yourself. Know that you are completely normal. Here are some of my favorite YouTubers who have become very, very successful. Best dressed.
Hi guys, today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different.
Peter McKinnon.
More videos, so I thought tonight's a good night to pick up the camera.
Graham Stephan.
What's up YouTube, it's Graham here. I'm gonna make a video today of the easiest tips that you can do to be successful in real estate.
We all had a lot of learning to do, so you are not alone. These next tips are things that every single YouTuber has to practice in order to grow and get as big as they are. One of them being is to write a script. And when I say script, I mean outline. Basically a list of things that you want to talk about. When you're first starting YouTube, you're gonna hit that record button and you're gonna rant for about an hour or so. When you start editing that, you're gonna realize you just wasted hours of your time ranting about absolutely nothing. That is what happens when you don't prepare in advance. Every single speaker or performer does this. They write out a list of all the main topics that they want to talk about so they are kept on track. But it is so important to not write a full-on script because that is exactly what I did when I first started. That will stiffen you up big time, and it will take twice as long just to record because you're no actor and you shouldn't be on YouTube. Everyone wants to see the real you. Memorizing, rehearsing, and performing lines is not really what people want out of YouTube. If you're anything like me, you also become an Alzheimer's patient when the camera starts rolling and you just blank. You completely forget what to say. In fact, I check my script almost every single line because I have both problems. I rant and I am a deer on headlights when the camera starts rolling. So if you want to prevent that, write a script. My next tip, especially at the beginning, is to write jokes. For most people who are introverts and are struggling to speak to camera, the main thing you need to work on is your stiffness in front of camera. Number one thing that makes people really successful on YouTube is their personality, their authenticity, their relatability. When you are stiff in front of camera, that makes it so much harder for you to grow on YouTube. But the thing is, when you're first starting out, you can't really help that about yourself. Your mind blanks, you have no idea what to talk about. You focus more on being informative rather than being entertaining. But not everyone has an amazing sense of humor or is a gifted comedian. So focus on being relatable instead of writing your typical quintessential joke. Because you're kind of talking to yourself, even though you're talking to most likely a big audience. But because the audience can't respond to you, jokes that require some kind of response is painfully cringy and awkward. Over time, after you've made hundreds of YouTube videos, you're going to start to loosen up and be able to be witty and yourself to camera without having to just force jokes in all the time. It's also a really great way to fill time, especially when you are first starting out, because when I was first starting, I could not talk for hours at a time. When you have certain things you know you want to say, like jokes that are meant to be entertaining and keep people's attention, then it's a lot easier for you to get through the filming of each YouTube video. I can't tell you how many times early on I would just sit in front of the camera for hours, and when I finally got through the editing room, I really didn't have much to work with because I was just sitting here thinking about what to say. It's also okay to film one line at a time. Back to how I used to write full-on scripts and then try to memorize it, I would try to speak entire paragraphs at a time. And you can imagine being someone who is not a trained speaker or actor or whatever, that was really, really difficult. I don't know what I was thinking, but when you're first starting, just go one line at a time. If you have to repeat that line 10,000 times before you get it right, that's just kind of how it is. If you've seen my how to make viral video Studio's video, you'll see that I have to repeat myself 10,000 times before I get the right line. The more videos you do, the more you'll be able to speak entire paragraphs without having to stutter or stop. But it does take a long time. In fact, for some people, meaning me, I don't know if that will ever not happen when I film. For some reason, a lot of people seem to think filming a YouTube video takes 10 to 20 minutes because the YouTube video was 10 to 20 minutes. What a lot of people who don't make YouTube videos don't realize is to get that 10 minutes, there was probably about an hour or 2 hours of footage that was completely cut out. So it's important to be patient and to take your time. Take as long as you need to get that line right. Which brings me to my next tip, keep the camera rolling. Stop fussing with it. Stop hitting that record button. Stop it. I'm looking at you. Stop. I think when we're nervous, we tend to fuss and fidget with a lot of things around us. When we're filming and we have a little bit of anxiety when we're filming, we tend to hit record, stop, record, stop. Just don't do that. Just leave the camera running because the editing software is gonna be your best friend. You can edit out your breaths, your ums, your likes, and all the random cringy things that you did while struggling just to speak. It's just easier to just leave your camera be and focus on filming and speaking. And don't touch it, don't worry about it. When I decided to be patient with myself and to be kind to myself and to just let it take as long as it needs, this particular tip helped me so much because I actually used to feel some kind of urgency to get the shot right in under 15 minutes, in 20 minutes, whatever it was. That made my performance, my filming myself a lot more enjoyable, and I could give myself the time to loosen up in front of camera. In fact, it takes me anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes of speaking on camera, being a little Muppet version of myself before I can finally be a little bit more natural and less stiff. These days, it takes me between an hour to 2 hours just to film an 8 to 10 minute long video. I edit out about 70% of my video because it's just not interesting. Maybe I'm ranting. Maybe I'm just not delivering the line the best way I should. If it takes you 2 hours or more just to get an interesting video, then record yourself for 2 hours. Granted, I say that knowing full well that I berate myself while I film these videos because I am a little bit of a tiger mom to myself. My next tip is to look directly into the lens of your camera. I have this problem where I have a hard time looking directly into someone's eyes. I like to look off to the side when I talk. I don't know if you've noticed it in my other YouTube videos, but I actually struggle to look directly at camera. But it's extremely awkward to not be looking at camera and to be looking at the viewfinder up there or something, making sure that your hair is fine or there's nothing in your teeth or you're not having some kind of wardrobe malfunction or something. You look great. You are having a great day. Your hair looks nice. Your makeup looks nice. Ooh, I love that shirt you're wearing. You look great. Stop looking at yourself in the viewfinder and look directly at the lens. Technically, this is advice for myself as well. I know that Casey Neistat wears sunglasses in order to look at the viewfinder while pretending to look at the camera, but I honestly wouldn't do that because we're human beings and human beings like eye contact. He's also Casey Neistat. He can get away with that. You and I, we can't. Let's be real here. The thing about all of these tips and advice that I have is it's easier said than done. Just because I gave you these tips doesn't mean suddenly after this YouTube video you're gonna be a master at filming yourself on camera. It takes a lot of practice in order to get good at filming yourself. I really needed to hear that when I first started filming myself. I just thought I was defective or something. One really neat trick that I inadvertently stumbled upon was you should film yourself every single day talking to camera almost as if having a diary entry. You don't have to put in a YouTube video. You don't have to post it anywhere. This is just for yourself to get yourself used to talking to camera. What's even more helpful is if you look it over. Yes, it's going to be an awful experience watching yourself back. In my first 6 months of doing YouTube, I hated watching myself back. I actually still do. I tend to not watch my own YouTube videos once they've been published because it's really cringy for me to see myself. It's just not a pleasant experience. It's so important to put in the time to practice speaking to camera, almost as if you're practicing playing piano, practicing how to drive, practicing how to ride a bike. When I realized it was a skill that can be learned and practiced, my Asian DNA kicked in and I made a practice routine for myself. I made sure to sit in front of camera every single day and to vlog 10 to 15 minutes to sometimes 30 minutes if I had time to just talk to myself. One thing that I realized about myself is that I like talking to camera if there's someone on the other side holding the camera for me. I end up sounding a lot more natural, as if I'm just having a conversation with you on the couch as a friend or something. What a lot of people do once they find out they're that kind of person, they put a photo of a friend or family member behind the camera so they can pretend like they're talking to that person. Some people hate the idea of anybody watching them speak to camera, and they need to be completely alone in a room in order to do so. If you're that way, practice at home at first, but then I would actually transition to practicing out in public. Yes, you're gonna look ridiculous. Yes, people are gonna judge you because it is kind of weird to be pointing the camera at yourself at the mall, at the park, at the doctor's office. But the sooner you get rid of all that shame and anxiety and stress that comes with filming yourself, the easier it's going to be to let loose and just be yourself on camera. If you want to learn more about the business of being a content creator, check out these other videos over here. Make sure to like this video if you like the video, and don't forget to dare to dream.